Hi, my name is Andrea Burke. I'm a realtor with RE/MAX in Action, serving the Eastern Panhandle of West Virginia. I'm here today to talk to you about the home buying process, especially for first-time home buyers. As you know, it's a great time to buy a home. We've never had so much inventory to choose from. Interest rates are still at historic lows, and you get money back from Uncle Sam. So what more could you want? Congratulations on making this decision. Before you and I get started, the first thing you're going to need to do is meet with a lender. They will go over the various programs that are available for you and run a credit check. The two of you will come up with a sales price where you're comfortable with not only the mortgage, but the taxes and insurance, and that it fits well within your budget. Then they'll issue a pre-approval letter, and we'll use that for guidelines in looking for a home, and we'll include that letter with our offer when you're ready to buy a house. I'm sure you've heard that we have a lot of short sales and foreclosures on the market, and that's true. A short sale means that the homeowner owes more than what they owe to the bank, and they have some sort of financial hardship where they can no longer make those payments. Things like loss of job, divorce, death of a spouse, relocation where the company's not paying any of the expenses, those types of things. When we list a home as a potential short sale, we really have no idea what price the bank's going to accept. We just put a price on there to attract a buyer to begin the long process. We'll submit the offer to the bank with a huge stack of paperwork of financial data proving the hardship case of the seller. It takes the bank anywhere from 60 days to 14 months to go through that paperwork, and then eventually look at the offer, have an appraisal done, and decide what price they're willing to accept for the home. Then, once we have the pre-approval, we can go to all the different steps for closing, usually within 30 days. If you are needing to write a sales contract by April 30th and close by June 30th, these are probably not a good option for you because there's just no guarantee that we'll close by June 30th. Foreclosures, on the other hand, are homes that the bank has already taken back. The homeowner is no longer in the home. The bank has done their homework. They've done a full appraisal and they price them very, very competitively. So when you see a sales price on there, the negotiation is maybe 3 to 5% different from that price. And in many cases, we get multiple offers because they are priced so competitively and they really don't stay on the market very long. Some of the foreclosures are so beat up they won't meet the guidelines of the loan programs. Others are just cosmetic fixes, and if you're willing to make those repairs once you own the home, then they're very, very good opportunity for you. So now we're ready to look for a home. First thing I'll do is set you up on a new service we have called Listing Books. It's just wonderful. We'll put in all of your search criteria, such as price, of course, and the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, the type of home, if you want a garage, a basement, certain size of lot, or an area of town. We'll put all that in, and it will give you a list of homes to go through. You can go through and carefully mark your favorites, and we can communicate back and forth through Listing Books. I can look at your list and you can ask me questions about specific homes and note which ones that you want to schedule for a showing. When we get ready to go look at the homes, it prints out a wonderful report for us that has all of the data from the MLS on each house, along with pictures and sort of a report card on the house, so we can check off the features that it had or didn't have, and you have a nice reference material at the end of the day when they get so jumbled together after looking at so many homes. We'll go through this process as long as it takes. I'm not in any hurry, and I'm certainly not going to push you into buying something because that's just not going to work for either one of us. Once we find a home, we'll sit down and write up an offer, and I'll highlight some of the things on our sales contract. Of course, we'll fill out your name and the seller's name and all of the legal descriptions of the property. On pricing and financing, we'll write down any down payment that you may or may not be doing and the amount of the loan, which will give us the sales price that we're offering. We'll also check off the type of loan that you're using per your lender. And we need to submit an earnest money deposit. This is usually a check for $500 to $1,000. I don't give the check to the listing company until we are fully ratified, where everybody signed and agreed on terms and conditions, and they put it in a trust account. If for some reason you need to back out for financial reasons, we can get you that money back. For most other reasons, they're going to give that money to the seller for their time and trouble. This money stays in the trust account until we go to closing, and then you can apply these monies to some of your closing costs. On part of the contract, we'll request a closing date per your lender and choose a settlement attorney. We have several in town and they all do a great job. If we're asking for closing cost assistance from the seller, there's a couple different places that will put it on the contract depending on the type of loan that you are using. And of course we'll sign and date the full sales contract. And we've got an addendum for contingencies. Contingencies mean that our offer is good as long as we get maybe an acceptable home inspection or radon inspection. We'll ask for covenants and restrictions if we don't have them yet. If you have a home to sell, it's considered a home sale contingency. And right now sellers aren't too eager to accept those, but they might. Anyway, there's a long list of contingencies that may or may not apply, and we'll address them on that paperwork. Once we've filled out all the paperwork, I'll submit it to the seller's agent, and they will present it to the seller. If the seller accepts everything as we wrote it, we have a ratified contract. If they make any changes, such as price or closing date or down payment assistance, so that type of thing, it becomes a counteroffer, and we'll sit down and decide if we're willing to accept their changes. If so, it's ratified. If not, then we do a counteroffer back to them. So we may go back and forth till we get everybody in agreement. Then you'll need to go meet with your lender, fill out their application, and they'll do a more extensive credit check and employment history check. They'll ask for a long list of documents, which you'll gladly give them. And the first thing they'll ask you to do is to go ahead and schedule the home inspection if you've opted to do that. We'll meet with the home inspector. It takes usually about 3 hours, and they give you a wonderful detailed report. We'll sit down and go through that report and see if there's items that we're going to ask the seller to fix, or if we're going to release the home inspection contingency. And you and the seller may go back and forth a bit if there are items to fix as to what they're willing to do and what you're willing to accept. Then the lender will order an appraisal. Of course, it needs to come in at or above the sales price, which in this market should be no problem. The lender will keep in close contact with both you and me. If they need anything at all, we'll jump through hoops to get it for them so that we don't miss any deadlines. You need to get utilities put in your name before closing. The electric you can do over the phone, and if you have public sewer and water, you need to physically go to the sewer department and the water department, fill out their application, and pay a deposit to each of them. If there's gas, depending on if it's natural gas or propane gas, we'll find out from the seller which company you need to contact regarding that. Usually the morning of closing, we'll go do a walkthrough inspection. We'll go through the house, make sure, of course, it hasn't burned or flooded. If there were any issues to be fixed from the home inspection, we'll make sure those are done. And basically just make sure it's in the same condition as when you wrote the offer, and that any personal property that was to be left is, of course, left. Then we'll go to the closing office. Usually it's the seller and their agent, you and I, of course, hopefully your lender, and of course the closing attorney. And they'll go through each piece of paper and make sure that you fully understand what it is that you're signing. The process takes usually about an hour, and once the loan is funded, they'll hand you the keys, and you are a happy new homeowner. Congratulations. So see, it's not hard at all. I'm here to guide you through the entire process, and your lender is on your side as well. So we look forward to working with you. Call me anytime, 304-261-8517. I would be more than happy to help you.